Hello class, my name is Rachel Gillespie and I will be covering chapter 19 in our textbook, Digital Imaging and Photography. So let's head right into this. If we can look at slide 2, why study digital imaging and photography? First thing this chapter asks that question, and some quick points here. That digital photography is the most popular visual medium in the world. It offers a way to place our world in context as well as kind of record our lives, and we definitely see this now in our culture with social media, and we'll talk more about this. New imaging software and photography apps make it easier to create and make it easier to share our creations with others. So again, this just reiterates how the social media and its effects, and how now apps are being created for smartphones and also other mobile devices such as iPads and other tablets to make it easier to manipulate and create different things with your pictures. So let's go on to the next slide. The current culture, capturing every moment capturing every moment of our lives with a compact digital still camera, or we'll just say a DSC, or even more so, mobile phones, smartphones. Posting to social media networks such as Instagram, Flickr, or Facebook. I've never used Flickr before, but I think we all have heard of Instagram and Facebook, LinkedIn, and there are so many now, and it's so popular. It's very normal these days to kind of photo journal or record our lives and share it with everyone we know, and even a lot of people we don't really know. Even businesses and companies who are hiring for new employees will go check out the applicant's Facebook, their LinkedIn, to see, get a better idea of who they are as a person. And that's what it is now. It's really, photography has really become a huge way of speaking for our personality and for what we like to do with our lives and our time and with our loved ones and our friends. It says it all with a picture, and so that's what people are doing. It's so easy now. People pull out their cell phones and snap a picture, and literally with a touch of a button send it right to their page. So so it's really interesting to see how this technology has really shaped our culture, and definitely the Generation Y culture, which when this book was written like a year ago or almost 2 years ago now, was the 18 to 32-year-old group. And I think that comes to no surprise to any of you that they're more tech prone to tech savviness and using all of that social networking. So we have a little statistic here saying that image taking with smartphones has increased the total number of images taken on any device by 10% to 27% since 2011. It's kind of a wide gap there, but you get the idea. And that also that would make sense. The usage of the other camera devices have dropped by 8%. So also just the fact that it's so convenient to have your phone on you all the time. It's not necessarily that convenient to carry a digital camera with you, also with your phone, because also they're making the camera phones more reliable, better quality, and with better resolution. It's still not up to par with the resolution that they have on real digital camera devices, but it definitely looks good, especially with all the filters and add-ons and editing you can do. You can really make it your own and make it look really pretty darn good. So a statistic on the Y generation is we definitely take the majority of pictures, 1.5 times more photos, and twice as many uploads as all other generations combined. Wow. And whereas all anyone ever did when I was growing up was have their pictures developed at like the drugstore or the grocery store with the film cameras, and now only about 8% of all pictures taken get developed. That's out of 22 billion taken just this year, 2013. Instead, what they do is what we've been talking about, but here's the technical term. They jump to screen, meaning they just jump straight to the social media pages, the websites, the emails, with just a click of the button, like I said. It's much easier. And also, it's a lot easier, I think, because if you want to reference back to a picture, you can, it's pretty easy. You can pull up a picture on your Facebook or any social media page wherever you're at, or by any computer. Whereas if you have it printed, pictures get lost, photo albums get misplaced, get dust covering them, and it's kind of a pain in the neck to get the picture when you really want it, when it's tangible. Let's go to the next slide here, photo manipulation and how big of a trend that has become. There are apps, literally thousands and thousands of apps devoted only to photo editing and manipulation. And that doesn't just mean filters or, fixing the red eye and changing the colors, making it black and white. It includes also a lot of times collages have been really popular this past year, maybe the past couple of years. And memes, e-cards, adding text to the pictures has become really popular. So they have apps for all of that. And some of the more popular apps that the textbook mentions are, of course, Instagram, also Snapseed and Scalado. Those I have not heard of, but I'm not necessarily that big into the whole picture taking and social media posting culture. Why is it? Why is it all of a sudden all of the app things? Of course, we have it's the social media pages, but also it's a lot easier to edit digital photos compared to the still image photos. And I'm going to explain exactly why, but it has to do with the pixels and yeah, I'm going to explain it later. Let's go to the next slide. I'm excited about the next slide. This is on record the first photograph ever taken, and it was taken by Joseph Nice. I'm not really sure of the pronunciation. This image is the view outside of his country house in 1826. And what he had to do for this, well, first he used, I think it was the lithograph. Let me look back here. Yes, the lithograph. That was new then, and he had been experimenting with it, with the processes, and came up with this process that he named heliography, which is green for sun writing, and that is because this required 8 hours of sun exposure. And he used this type of asphalt called bitumen of Judea. And so that sat all day on his window or outside of his window. And when he came in, he used this like lavender oil and wiped it off. And I'm sure there's a lot more to it, but basically this is what he got, was this positive image. And so this was really, he's named the first for having a photograph, and this was really cool because this was the beginning of what was to come, a huge thing. So let's go to the next slide. This is really cool also. Louis Daguerre, I'm not sure if I am pronunciating his name exactly right, but he in 1838 took a picture of the Boulevard du Temple in Paris. And of course, hence his name, he invented the daguerreotype process of photography, which if you saw, you would you would instantly know it's the cameras that are on the stilts, on the tripods, and it's a big box, and it kind of the photographer always put like a cape or a hood over him to take the picture, and it took a long time, about 10 minutes. And so if you've ever noticed looking at older pictures, if someone moved in the picture, it's like a blurry, um, and that's because you really couldn't move. It had to sit still. So in this picture, it's zoomed in. So what's really, really cool about this picture is it's the first recorded picture of a man in it. It's the first picture of anybody. And you can't see anyone else in it, and you can't see any cars because there was so much movement going on. All of that disappeared, but this man had to sit still to get his shoes shined. So he just accidentally made it into this picture, and he's the first guy to ever be photographed. We don't know who he is, so I think that's really cool. And so we'll just move on to the next slide of the evolution of cameras. So like I said, the daguerreotype, that has been deemed the first real process of photography by most people. Then there is the calotype, which was created by William Talbot, and then the wet collodion by Frederick Archer. Then there was the gelatin bromide dry plate by Dr. Richard Maddox, and what we know very well as the continuous tone panchromatic black and white and autochromatic color negative films, still cameras, which are now slowly disappearing. Now when these digital cameras kind of came on the scene, Kodak was the first one to produce a prototype of this digital camera, and that was in 1975. And it was huge. It was the size of a toaster. Then it took 6 years for another company, which was Sony, to come out with a still video camera called Mavica. And this was still not really, this wasn't a digital camera. The first real digital camera that came out was by Dicam, and it was called Dicam. It came out in 1990, and this captured images in monochromatic grayscale, but it was digital. I don't think it was that popular. It was expensive, and it really wasn't brought into a lot of homes. It wasn't until 1994 when Apple came out with the QuickTake 100, which was the first real mass produced camera, digital camera, and it was on sale for about $750, which is a lot for a camera. I guess these days, for at least one that can only hold 8 pictures. Yep, that was all it could hold, was 8 pictures. They were color images, and you could actually also transfer these images onto a computer using a serial cable. So after that, other top companies, started coming out with their cameras. We got a lot more digital cameras. They're really popular now. And then comes the camera phones, which aren't necessarily better in technology or better in resolution or quality of photo, but they are hugely utilized by people and really, really convenient. All right, let's look at the next slide, more recent developments. It mentions down here how Kodak had to file for bankruptcy, and that happened a little while ago, and a lot of people knew about that and were really sad about it, especially since, it's Kodak, they came out with the first prototype for a digital camera, but yet they couldn't really make it in this digital camera market, so that's really sad. Um, there are the first two things, some lenses that are easier to like pop on and off, more removable kind of lenses um, for iPhones, which is really cool. I just saw on a commercial, you can just pop that on, and it doesn't help with resolution, but it helps with a zoom. It increases the zoom and the depth of the picture, or width of the picture. And then next, there is the Lytro camera that has come out more recently, that uses the light field technology. And that means basically you can take a picture with this camera of a moving object, an unfocused object, and what they call it was a living object in the textbook. But basically, you can then transfer it to a computer device, or computer phone, and then with the proprietary software, go ahead and focus any image you want. That's a newer thing. I didn't really know you couldn't do that before, but that's really cool that you can take a picture of something blurry, and it can put it together and make it defined and focused. So that's pretty cool. That's something newer on this market. And of course, like I said, just more and more software for photo editing and apps are coming out all the time. Many of them are free of charge, and iCloud and Google Plus um, have the unlimited photo storage. Um, and this is crazy. I was really shocked by this statistic that prints made from film cameras have declined 84%. I guess that's not really a shock. It just used to be so huge when we were younger, when I was younger. Just going on vacations, and you had the disposable cameras, and you snapped, and you wound it till it clicked, and you took it, the whole camera, to the CVS or Walgreens or what have you, and you got your packet of pictures back, and you never knew how they were going to turn out because you could only look through this little tiny window. And now to see that it's declined 84%, it's just crazy to see how much technology really does evolve over a short period of time, and how much we evolve with it. I'm going to leave you with this question, and that is, how do you feel the social media craze of uploading and posting pictures has impacted our culture and our ability to communicate? Thank you guys, and I hope you have a great rest of week 7 and week 8.